So we have the market giving up a little bit of the gains. And first and foremost, I do want to apologize if the stream is a bit laggy. I'm having some internet issues. It should be resolved hopefully by tomorrow. Let's get straight into it, right? We're seeing a little bit of a pullback, at least if you go onto the daily as well as on the hourly for the crypto market. Trump standing out like a sore thumb. I don't know if you guys saw that. He actually went out and said that whoever holds the most amount of Trump tokens, 220 of them, I think it is, will be invited to a personal dinner with him. So, of course, the token going up. I think this is one of the easiest short trades to look to for actually pull back properly. I think that this will still eventually, if we just have a look at the chart over there, it will continue to just bleed down, right? That's typically what happens with these. And strategically, it's been perfectly planned just in time for the big token unlocks, which come out also next week. Absolutely amazing. So let's get into it. Stock market over here, very, very important chart to be focusing on because this is still going to be relevant despite crypto somewhat bucking the trend in terms of that dip that came towards the downside over there. What you're looking at over here is you really need to see the stock market break this level, right? If the stock market can break and hold above 5,700, that will start to look good. You're going to be contending with the downsloping trend line, the 200 moving average, the golden ratio over there, which is coming in at 5,700, and the downsloping trend line, right? And then you've got the purple line, which is your 50% level, which you're currently rejecting off, right? So just running through everything as quick as possible for you guys today. Gold over here, also still the potential for a spinning top candle over there, rejective candle at the exact highs, while gold started to become a little bit euphoric, right? It's not over yet. Of course, it can pump a little bit higher. We do need to wait to see exactly what takes place over there. Your hourly trends starting to break down. You've created your first lower low. We'll see if this is a lower high, but I'd be looking for a shift in more of the high time frame trends like the daily time frame. And the daily is still going to be in an uptrend as long as price remains, call it about 3,000. If you lose 3,000 on gold, then you can say chances are you're going in for a much, much, much deeper pullback over there, right? DXY still holding that downtrend. This is the dollar index. And the next target that we have in mind is going to be coming all the way down here towards that 95 level, which is your multi-decade trend line, that parallel channel and holding up. For those of you that have expressed interest in learning more about trading traditional markets, remember, first, I do want to outline that there is a free section over here. If you do go into Whale Room, this is going to be a free section that you guys can access. And it's this one over here. It's called Vantage Markets, where we are trading the traditional markets. We have a professional trader dedicated full-time to servicing this particular channel. How do you get in for free? Well, you'd need to join into Whale School, where we are going to be trading crypto stocks and commodities, right? So instead of paying $2,000, you can sign up. We do begin in 4 days, right? 4 days and 4 hours. I think that puts it on Monday. We begin with that. And here's the new section, right? Trade CFDs with Vantage Markets. Unlock that section, and basically you can get that part of Whale Room for free, right? Cool. Let's continue. So yesterday we outlined the more high time frame macro potential for a lower high over here. I know no one wants to hear it, but you can see prices starting to reject over here. We did say we actually think that this might go a lot higher, possibly into the hundreds. But as it currently stands, you can see price finding resistance. I'm not going to harp too much on this right now. You can go back to yesterday's stream, but ultimately be careful. This is your danger zone. Your danger zone is going to be exactly where our long targets were previously situated, where we took this trade, right? This was the long targets coming into that 95K level, and that's currently where you are finding a bit of resistance. So there will be pullbacks along the way. And then the real question remains, what happens on the next higher low? That's going to be the key point. So that's your high time frame chart over there. Again, finding resistance at the 30 moving average, which has been governing part of the high time frame bias. You've recovered the 3 and the 9 moving average, which is the green and the yellow, which is a good sign, but coming directly into key resistance, right? So definitely a profit-taking area where you do want to remain a little bit cautious, because if price does smash through this, great, it will still come back and have to test it anyway, which means you get another entry at basically the exact same place. So that trade played out, rejecting into now the high volume profile over there. I'm going to delete it because the trade's over. If that is a top, and it's an if because you could spike up a little bit higher, we don't know, maybe go all the way to the points of control at $96,000. But once you have a confirmed high, the first level of interest that I'd be looking out to is value gap over here, right in the middle of this zone. So coming into that $90,000 region. But when price starts to gain bullish control, or bulls gain control and gain momentum, usually the 0.382 is going to be the first level of interest, right? And again, the fibs get adjusted depending on how high price runs. So if price keeps running up like that, then that 0.382 fib level is going to line up exactly in the fair value gap from not yesterday, the day before yesterday's candle, right? There it is. I'll change the color to make it clear for you. Let's go in, let's change it to, let's just change it over here. Let's go over there and let's make it yellow so you guys can all see. And we'll throw in also a midline to make it nice and easy. And we'll also put that in, let's put that one in white, and we'll make it solid over there. There we go. So you guys can see exactly. Usually you target somewhere around the equilibrium. There you go. So you can see that nicely. The midline is coming in at about $90,000. So if price does continue to rally and you can extend that fib up, that's going to be a high confluent zone. We're not there yet, right? We can't drag it up yet because price hasn't moved. So as it currently stands, 0.382 is coming in at $87,000. That will be one area of interest for a potential pullback and high low. What you don't want to see is the engulfment of this entire move. And sometimes when you do go up only, that does tend to happen, right? Especially when in a low volume environment, which it has been, right? That's what we can see over here. The volume picked up a little bit, but generally speaking, there hasn't been many retail that have come back to the market. The 7-day daily exchange volume continues to trend towards the downside, lower lows and lower highs, right? Lower lows and lower highs. USDT dominance played out a move in the short trade there as well, hit the key support, and now it's starting to bounce. So if you want to see where Bitcoin goes next or where crypto goes next, you can always look to this. As it currently stands, this is pressing towards the upside, and you also have fair value gaps over here. You already tested the one. I'm on the 4-hour chart, so tested this on Wednesday, which was yesterday. The next one that you're going to look to is going to be this zone over here, right? So lining that up over there, look for a little bit of resistance. When resistance is found over there, if you can't get back above this breakdown level, I'll change up some of these levels now, but watch for like 5.25. If you start to reject over there, that probably coincides with the higher low on Bitcoin, right? Maybe it comes down into this zone over here. Otherwise, I'm going to lower this. We said this is going to be a difficult area for the USDT dominance to break back above. I'm now going to move it over there. You had this consolidation led into the downward move. I would say that's kind of the next level. So basically, it's a stops to break even kind of trade over there in terms of the short. Not that we short USDT, but we're using it as a metric, right? If you do want to take these trades, by the way, like the Trump trade, right? You can see over here, Trump coming directly into key resistance, right? And I would wait a little bit. Maybe you come back and test some of this liquidity at about 1450. But I think if the market does turn on this chart and you actually do confirm the AB corrective wave over here, where you're going to go into wave B to C, again, I'm not calling it. We've said it multiple times. There are good things on the high time frame oscillators like the weeklies, etc., which could lead to some really, really sizable bounces. But it is the most obvious place. If you were going to lead into a bearish market, this is the most obvious place where you should reject. The most obvious. People will be crying if they don't take profits over here and we do actually reject and go into a bear market. So if that does happen, then Trump is going to be an amazing coin to look for a short trade, where ultimately you can just trade this all the way down. It should sweep the yearly open at some point, and eventually I think it'll trend towards zero, right? So if you do want to trade these, remember you can check out Bank because you can spin the wheel. You have 3 days left for this event, right? You can guaranteed win, absolutely guaranteed. You can win one Sol, 0.001 BTC. You can win Pi, you can win XRP, Sui, Cardano, Doge, or even one ETH, which is a couple of $1,000s, right? So use the link in the description below if you do want to join into that. The 24-hour liquidations are higher than what we had previously seen. Remember, we went into the low volume environment over here. We were only getting around 100 million in liquidations per day. Very, very, very low. And that told us we're going to probably get an expansive move. In this instance, short to a squeeze. Now is it going to be in the opposite direction? Usually this is what the market makers do. Run both sides. Run the shorts first, then possibly you're going to run the longs next. So be careful with going too heavy on your leverage long positions unless you're coming into key supports, right? Very, very quick look at some of the other charts over here. So Solana, key supports are going to be coming in that 125, 130 region. If you do get a sizable pullback, that's going to be the area of interest. Sui, which has been defying all odds against the rest of the market, is going to be printing a lot of fair value gaps over here, right? Big inefficiency candles coming down into these zones over here. So this can easily pull back all the way down to about 243, and that's going to be where you look for your next high low. So we absolutely crushed it on this trade. I actually just let 𝗪𝗲𝗲 know now that I've just closed the SUI trade officially, right? So that is it, a quick stream today, guys. Appreciate all of you for joining. I will catch you all on the next one. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you soon. Cheers for now.